Guys, we do not talk enough about season 2 of Sex and the City and how Carrie Bradshaw basically spent the entire season begging Big. Begging him to love her, begging him to inform her, begging him to think of her. Like, my girl was on 73rd Street asking this man, what are we? Hey, my good sis. My good sis. She was creeping behind her friend's back, and instead of telling them that, yo, me and Big are back together, she just kept it to herself. And why? Because she knew what she was doing was stupid. I don't care what anyone says. One of the first signs that tell you that you probably shouldn't be back with a guy or a guy is not really good news is if you can't tell your friends. How can we forget about this iconic crash out? Remember when he was moving to Paris and Paris was only supposed to be for like maybe a weekend, like business trip, but instead it became something that was a bit longer and he didn't even consider her? He had this white woman bouncing off the walls, throwing her beret around because this guy was being a jerk. And what about the time she wanted him to spend some time with her friends because they don't like him? So it's just like, hey, come hang out with my friend. I want them to get to know you and see that you're not a selfish piece of shit. He actually agreed initially to come hang out with her friends. And then when the night comes, what happens? Hey, kid, I'm so sorry. I'm not feeling well tonight. I'm feeling this. Hey, kid. Why is he always calling her a kid? Okay, and yes, he did finally show up. But he had to beg him. Like, the whole of season 2 should be called Beggar. And what about when Carrie met Natasha for the first time at the Hamptons? My goodness. You mean the guy came back and he couldn't even just... He couldn't call her after he saw what he was doing to her emotionally and didn't even think to reach out. He had her throwing up in her Cowboy Carter hat. Like, what the hell? Honestly, the whole time I just wanted to scream, stand up, Carrie. Stand the fuck up. Like, for real. The entire season, I just kept saying, this woman's a beggar. She keeps begging. And when you're in your 20s, it's mildly understandable, honestly. But when you're in your 30s, there are so many more men in New York